Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh, coming up in the next 30 minutes. Gaza ceasefire set to begin on Sunday. In first phase, 33 Israeli hostages held by Hamas will be swapped for 737 Palestinian prisoners detained by Israel. In a historic move to digitize rural land records, Prime Minister Narendra Modi distributes over 6.5 million property cards under Swamitva scheme to beneficiaries. And ahead of Trump's inauguration, Canada threatens retaliatory tax in the face of US President-elect's plan to swap 25% tariffs on Canadian imports. After months of conflict and uncertainty, Israel's government has approved a ceasefire deal with Hamas. The truce is set to begin on Sunday, includes a major hostage and prisoner exchange that could mark a significant step towards ending the Gaza conflict.
Israel's government, after its full cabinet meeting, has greenlit a ceasefire and hostage deal with Hamas after months of devastating conflict. The agreement, confirmed by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office, marks a critical turning point in the Gaza conflict. The agreement includes a three-stage truce beginning with a 6-week ceasefire on Sunday. Hostages held by Hamas will be swapped for Palestinian prisoners detained by Israel. In the first phase, 33 hostages, including women, children, and elderly men, will be freed by Hamas. Israel will release 737 Palestinian prisoners in return, as stated by the Israeli Justice Ministry. It had previously published a list of 95 Palestinian prisoners to be released. The Israeli government ratified the ceasefire deal after a 6-hour meeting on early Saturday. Officials say this could mark the beginning of the end for the 15-month-old Gaza conflict. The ceasefire is tied to diplomatic efforts involving both the outgoing US President Joe Biden's team and President-elect Donald Trump, who has claimed credit for brokering the deal. The truce could also ease tensions across West Asia, where the conflict has escalated into Lebanon, Iran, and Yemen. Gaza civilians suffering from hunger, sickness, and cold could finally see the long-awaited and much-needed relief through the ceasefire. Aid trucks carrying food, fuel, and medicine are ready to enter once the ceasefire begins. Bureau Report, DD India.
US President-elect Donald Trump announced on Friday his inauguration ceremony, set to take place on 20th January, will now be relocated indoors due to extremely cold temperatures forecasts in the nation's capital. The event, traditionally held in front of the US Capitol, will now take place inside the congressional complex. Moreover, the planned parade of military regiments down Pennsylvania Avenue has also been scrapped and will instead be held at Capitol One. It's the first time since 1985 that inauguration of Ronald Reagan that such emergency measures have been taken due to dangerously cold weather in Washington, D.C. The outgoing US President Joe Biden, just 2 days before his departure from the White House, declared Equal Rights Amendment as law of the land. This will make women of the United States feel more empowered. The law relates to equality of gender in all respects under US Constitution. The declaration mentions equality of rights under the law shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of sex. It enshrines the change into the US Constitution more than a century after the guarantee of gender equality was first proposed. Supporters of Equal Rights Amendment have long waited for the amendment to ensure that women's rights are safeguarded under the US Constitution. In a statement, President Biden emphasized that the era would provide critical constitutional protection for women and would send a clear message about America's commitment to gender equality.
I affirm the Equal Rights Amendment to have cleared all the necessary hurdles to be added to the U.S. Constitution now. The Equal Rights Amendment is the law of the land now. It's the 28th Amendment to the Constitution now.
Outgoing U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin highlighted the strides made by the United States under the Biden administration during his farewell speech delivered on Friday. Austin noted the U.S. made sweeping upgrades to its position in the Indo-Pacific, intensely focused on challenge posed by China, prevented an all-out war in the Middle East, and rallied the world towards the cause for Ukraine. Referring to incoming Trump administration, Austin said, American democracy is not a sprint but a relay race, and he's very proud of what they achieved over the past 4 years. U.S. strengthened its defense ties across several fronts under the Biden administration. This included the rekindling of the Quad alliance, which comprises India, United States, Japan and Australia, and deepening engagements with the ASEAN and Taiwan. And ahead of Donald Trump's presidential inauguration, US-Canada relations have started to become rocky. Canada has announced retaliatory measures in the face of Trump's plans to slap 25% tariffs on Canadian imports. Here's a detailed report by DD India's Akshay Hansta.
US-Canada relations turn to get more sour as Canadian Foreign Minister Melanie Joly announced to hit Americans with Trump tariff tax if US's incoming President Donald Trump increases custom duties on Canadian products. According to government sources, Ottawa is considering higher duties on goods from the United States, including steel products, ceramics like toilets and sinks, glassware and orange juice, in a first phase of tariffs that could be extended. Canadian people too are angry over Trump's overtures to make Canada as 51st state of the USA. To show their displeasure, Canadians are wearing hats bearing the words "Canada is not for sale," modelled after the Make America Great Again. Liam Mooney, an entrepreneur from Ottawa, introduced this campaign. Gloomy atmosphere can be seen at American border town of Derby Line and its Canadian twin Stansted, where people have been living in harmony for more than 2 centuries.
The U.S. House of Representatives passed a bill on January 15th that aims to reduce tax payments, prevent double taxations and provide tax exemptions for Taiwanese businesses, residents and employees in the U.S. As per a media report in Taiwan titled The United States-Taiwan Expedited Double Tax Relief Act, the act was passed in the House by 423 to 1 vote. It will now be sent to the U.S. Senate for a vote and, if approved, will be sent to the American president to be signed into law. The aim of the bill is to prevent double taxation between the US and Taiwan. It seeks to amend the current US tax laws to provide tax exemptions for eligible Taiwanese residents in the US and to lower withholding tax rates on income from specific sources in the US, such as dividends and interests, according to the report. In a significant development, the bill would seek to enact the United States-Taiwan Tax Agreement Authorization Act, which would authorize the US president to negotiate and enter into a tax agreement relative to Taiwan. The US Treasury will take extraordinary measures next week to avoid a government debt default. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen made the announcement on Friday. These extraordinary measures are a way for the Treasury to ensure that US government can keep paying its bills and avoid a huge destabilizing debt default. With the government reaching its borrowing limit, the measures are likely to begin from 21st January, just a day after Donald Trump's inauguration as the President of the United States. Popular video application TikTok has issued a warning that it will shut down in the US on Sunday unless the government provides assurance that it won't be punished for violating a looming ban. The outgoing US President Joe Biden said the next president will make the decision on the future of TikTok. The warning comes after Supreme Court of the US upheld a law banning TikTok in the country, citing national security concerns due to its Chinese parent company, ByteDance. The court's 9-0 ruling has left TikTok's future uncertain, with its 170 million American users in limbo. Meanwhile, President-elect Donald Trump has vowed to intervene and save TikTok after taking office on Monday. TikTok CEO Shou Zi Chew thanked Trump for his support.
On behalf of everyone at TikTok and all our users across the country, I want to thank President Trump for his commitment to work with us to find a solution that keeps TikTok available in the United States. This is a strong stand for the First Amendment and against arbitrary censorship.
Shifting focus, Russia launched a fresh airstrike on central Ukrainian Kyiv early on Saturday. According to the officials, at least 4 people were killed in the attack. 14 people, including 4 children, were also injured in the strike. Kyiv Mayor Vitaly Klitschko said the air defenses were in operation around the city. Ukraine's Air Force had earlier warned of a ballistic missile threat and said it had detected a high-speed target heading towards the city. The Kyiv air attack comes a day after a delegation of senior UN officials met Zelensky in Kyiv to discuss ways to strengthen humanitarian support for Ukraine. Russia and Iran signed a comprehensive strategic partnership treaty on Friday to strengthen their economic and military cooperation. Both sides termed the treaty as a major milestone in their relations. The treaty signed by Russian President Vladimir Putin and his Iranian counterpart Masoud Pezeshkian will boost cooperation in a range of areas, including their security services, military drills, warship port visits and joint officer training.
The treaty that we signed today creates an additional, as I have already said, substantial foundation for building relation of a trustful nature. This is a treaty about our priorities, about fulfilling our priorities. This is a treaty that allows us to strengthen our bilateral ties in the interest of the people of Iran and the Russian Federation.
Impeached South Korean President Yoon Suk Yeol appeared at Seoul Western District Court for the first time on Saturday to attend a hearing that will decide his fate on whether to extend his detention on accusation of insurrection. The district court will review the hearing, with the decision expected to be announced soon. If approved, the new warrant will likely extend Yoon's detention by 20 days, giving prosecutors time to formalize an indictment. Yeol was arrested by investigators over his alleged involvement in a failed martial law bid. Still to come on this edition of DT India Live. Singapore's President Tharman Shanmugaratnam visits a village in the East Indian state of Odisha. Second seed Iga Swiatek charges into 4th round of the Australian Open after defeating Emma Raducanu.
What will be Trump 2.0's foreign policy outlook? Can we expect something different this time? How will different countries adjust to Trump's disruptive as well as unusual presidency?
The optimistic scenario, which I think Donald Trump actually wants to see, is essentially a great power concert. He wants a world in which the United States and China and Russia and India, great powers, and to quote Thucydides, he likes to live in a world where great powers, do what they can, and weaker powers suffer what they must.
Welcome back. You're watching DT India Live. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi distributed 6.5 million property cards to property owners via video conferencing today. The cards were distributed under the Swamitwa scheme to property owners across 50,000 villages in 10 states and 2 union territories. Speaking on the occasion, Prime Minister Modi termed the day historic for the rural economy. He said over 2 crore 25 lakh property documents have been issued in the last 5 years since the implementation of the Swamitwa scheme. The scheme was launched by Prime Minister with a vision to enhance economic progress of rural India. This included providing a record of rights to households owning houses in inhabited areas and villages via drone technology for surveying. Singapore's President Tharman Shanmugaratnam visited Ragurajpur village in India's eastern state of Odisha on Saturday, explored heritage craft and artisanal diversity. He was accompanied by his wife Jane Yumiko. On Friday, the visiting leader visited the Crafts Museum and appreciated the vibrant cultural display at Kalabhumi. The visiting president is on a 4-day state visit to India from January 14th to 18th. The visit also marks the commencement of the celebration of 60th anniversary of establishment of diplomatic ties between India and Singapore. The budget session of India's parliament will begin on 31st of January. It will start with President Draupadi Murmu addressing a joint session of the upper and lower house of the parliament. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman will present the union budget on 1st February. The first phase of the session will run from January 31st to February 13th. The second phase will take place from March 10th to April 4th. And now all the news from the Maha Kumbh, the largest religious congregation in the world. Noted actor and politician Ravi Kishan expressed his gratitude for the opportunity to attend the Grand Maha Kumbh, describing it as once-in-a-lifetime experience. He appealed to people to come and experience the grandeur by themselves.
I'm in the holy land of Prayagraj, and with me is renowned Indian actor Ravi Kishan. Let's talk to him. Sir, just tell us about how you're feeling today after coming to Prayagraj.
Unbelievable. I never thought I'll feel so good and great, because this event has come after 144 years, like 12 Kumbh you finish and then you get this Maha Kumbh. So I'm blessed that I'm the first parliamentarian and I'm the first star who's dipped in this holy water. And this is the biggest event happening on earth. Yeah. I've seen a lot of foreigners also coming. Yeah. I must give all the credit to Double Engine Sarkar.
The focus this time is making this festival a digital one. Everywhere you see QR code and people are reaping benefits of it. All the pilgrims and all the devotees who are coming here. What do you have to say on this?
This is what our Prime Minister Modi ji wanted, digital India. And this is the biggest example that how successful we are. And I must thank the government. I must thank Yogi Adityanath Maharaj ji. That what a wonderful, a great vision. I am completely spellbound coming here, seeing with your own eyes. It's very well organized. Now, can you imagine, like everywhere is VVIP treatment for common man to the VIP people. Both very comfortable. Police has done a great job. I must salute them.
Moving on, winter chills continue to grip northern Indian states with dense fog and cold waves disrupting daily life. In the national capital region, a thin layer of top fog blanketed New Delhi and nearby areas, reducing visibility on early Saturday morning. Several trains are delayed at the New Delhi railway station and a few flights have also been delayed at Indira Gandhi International Airport due to poor visibility. Meanwhile, in Uttar Pradesh, a dense fog has enveloped Prayagraj, adding challenges for pilgrims attending the Maha Kumbh. Authorities are urging travellers to exercise caution amid low visibility. Due to night-long cloud cover, minimum temperatures across Jammu and Kashmir improved, bringing some respite for the people. However, minimum temperatures still remained below the freezing point in most parts of Kashmir Valley and Chenab region. Met Department has cautioned tourists, travellers and transporters about sub-zero temperatures and icy conditions on roads, especially over critical mountain passes and higher altitudes. It advised adhering to guidelines issued by the administration and traffic authorities. Let's now turn to other stories making news today. India's Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal is on a 3-day visit to Brussels, Belgium for high-level dialogue with Commissioner of European Commission for Trade and Economic Security. The two leaders are expected to hold wide-ranging discussions on various issues including India-European Union Free Trade Agreement negotiations. As the air quality in Delhi and neighbouring regions has shown improvement, the Commission for Air Quality Management has decided to revoke Stage 3 of Graded Response Action Plan in the entire National Capital Region with immediate effect. However, Stage 2 and Stage 1 will remain active for the purpose of monitoring, review and implementation. The Chilika Wildlife Division is conducting its annual bird census in Indian state of Odisha. The census that is conducted every year in January monitors the health of its wetland and various species of birds, including migratory birds residing in the area. As part of Maha Kumbh 2025 in Prayagraj, Namami Gange mission under Ministry of Jal Shakti has set up a grand and captivating Namami Gange pavilion at the event. The pavilion has become a unique medium for raising awareness about the conservation and cleanliness of Ganga. India's Ministry of Development of Northeastern Region hosted Northeast Trade and Investment Roadshow in Ahmedabad. The roadshow evoked interest from potential investors to explore opportunities in the northeastern states. On the sidelines of the Northeast Trade and Investment Roadshow in Ahmedabad, Union Minister On the sidelines of the Northeast Trade and Investment Roadshow in Ahmedabad, Minister Dr. Sukant Majumdar highlighted the potential of Northeastern region to emerge as one of the country's leading economic powerhouses. Its proximity to Southeast Asia also positions Northeastern region as a gateway to Southeast Asian countries, aligning perfectly with India's Act East policy. DD India spoke exclusively to Minister of State for Development of Northeastern region, Dr. Majumdar. Here's more.
We are joined in by Union Minister of State for Education and Development of Northeast Region, Dr. Sukant Majumdar. Thank you so much, sir, for talking to DD India. We are at the Ahmedabad Roadshow of the Northeast Trade Investment meet that happened today in Ahmedabad. What has been the response so far?
More than 200 industry leaders, they have attended this roadshow and they are very much interested to invest in northeastern part of our country. We have a good human resource there. And I feel that near future, as it is the dream of our Honorable Prime Minister, that to reach the dream of Viksit Bharat, in that path, this Northeast will play a pivotal role.
Do you expect more companies from Gujarat to set up their probably units there so that they can supply to the further region?
Yes, as you know, the Honorable Prime Minister's dream is to create a connection between the Southeast Asia through Asian highway as well as the railway lines. So I feel that in near future all these boundaries, it will be the countries will become neighbors and the distance will be shorter in future. So we can take that opportunity that we can use the Northeast as our production center and as our industry growth area, and we can supply to the whole Southeast Asia. The Make in India brand or Made in India brand is becoming popular everywhere in the world. So everybody is asking for the Made in India brand, Make in India brand. So obviously we can use that Northeast as a launching pad for the Southeast Asia.
Thank you so much, Minister, for talking to us. So here we had the Minister of State for Education and Development of Northeast region speaking about us on the Ahmedabad Roadshow, which is tapping the potential for investors from Gujarat to come to Northeast and explore the opportunities of business there. With my colleague Kunal, this is Meghna Dev for DD India from Ahmedabad, Gujarat.
Time for sports update. Indian pair of Satvik Sairaj Ranika Reddy and Chirag Shetty will face Malaysian duo of Kosi Fair and Noor Isuddin in semi-finals of India Open Badminton Tournament in New Delhi on Saturday. In the quarter-finals, the Indian duo defeated South Korean pair of Jin Yong and Kang Min Yuk 21-10, 21-17 to book their spot in the men's doubles last four encounter. The victory marks their third consecutive semi-finals appearance following finishes in the last four stage at China Masters and the Malaysia Open. Second seed Iga Swiatek charged into the fourth round of the Australian Open after defeating Emma Raducanu 6-1, 6-0 on Saturday. Both players have been former US Open champions. Polish number 1 Swiatek targeted Raducanu's background to win the last 11 games of the contest to reach the last 16 in Melbourne for the 5th time. 5 times Grand Slam champion Swiatek, whose best performance in Melbourne was a run to the semi-finals in 2022, is yet to drop a set this year on her way to the 4th round, where she will play lucky loser Eva Leis or Jacqueline Christian. In other matches, 8th seed Emma Navarro joined the American charge with a 6-4, 3-6, 6-4 win over Tunisian Ons Jabeur in a topsy-turvy match. Meanwhile, in men's category, top seed Yannick Sinner will resume his title defence against unseeded Marcos Giron in the 3rd round match today. And that's all in this edition of DD India Live. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan this QR code on your screens to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live. Namaskar.